A game that was over early and a ranking that went down to the wire have ACU for a 6th straight year in the NCAA playoffs.
Playoffs? You're talking about playoffs? Well, you bet we are. We'll look back at the round of Incarnate Word in today's first round matchup at Washburn. It's the Chris Thompson Show right now.
The Wildcats live to fight another day. Welcome to a playoff episode of the Chris Thompson Show. I'm Grant Boone with ACU senior Austin Gwynn and the head football coach of the Wildcats, Chris Thompson. A day after the Cats wrapped up the regular season with a big win over Incarnate Word, the NCAA put a nice shiny bow on it by announcing ACU would be one of the 24 teams in the NCAA Division II playoffs. Coach, the Cats now with 6 straight years in the playoffs. You still had to wait until 4 o'clock Sunday to make it official. What'd you tell your team when the news came down?
Well, just that, that we're very proud of them. I mean, those guys have worked really hard. Coaches and players have put in a lot in just building the team, the process of building the team over 14 weeks. And it's a really nice reward to get to go play in the postseason. And I think our guys are excited. We feel like we're peaking at the right time, and we're excited about getting in the playoffs and playing against the best teams in the country.
And, Coach, I know you're excited about getting in the playoffs, but how surprised were you at that number 6 seed? We're number 5 before last week, a 61-16 victory over not so great Incarnate Word team, and a team above us loses. And I thought maybe we could even host a game, move up a spot to number 4, but instead we dropped to number 6. How surprised were you?
I wasn't surprised at all, just because they go off strength of schedule. They don't really go off how much you won by that particular week or where you were. And, the MIAA has had a lot of success in their outer non-conference games this year, more than what the Lone Star Conference has had in terms of non-conference opponents. So their strength of schedule is probably better. And they got 4 teams in, the MIAA did, and the Lone Star only got 2. So strength of schedule in that last game, although I think going into the game we were number 12 in the country in strength of schedule, but the Incarnate Word, that probably hurt our strength of schedule and dropped us. So really no surprise, just glad we got in.
Yeah, you are in. You take on Washburn today, 1 o'clock, and we will preview that game against the Ichabods, which is a rematch of the season opening game last year up in Topeka, Kansas. But when we come back, we'll look back at that 61-16 regular season finale over Incarnate Word. This is the Chris Thompson Show. ACU closed out the regular season in style with its biggest win of the season, 61-16 over Incarnate Word. With the highlights, here's Austin.
ACU Wildcats taking on the 2-7 Incarnate Word Cardinals in the regular season finale. Could be the seniors' last time to play in Shotwell Stadium. Wildcats came out hot as Gale hit Taylor Gabriel on the second possession. Gabriel takes it 42 yards, tack on a few more for that horse collar penalty. And the running back, Daryl Richardson, finishes off that drive with a 12-yard touchdown run. Richardson, one of those seniors who could be seeing Shotwell for the last time. Good for him to get in the end zone. Wildcats, though, after a couple of Morgan Lineberry field goals, would find the end zone again. That's Gale scrambling around and hits Andrew Richards. His first catch of the year goes for a touchdown, 35 yards. Wildcats up early. They're not done, though. Gale hit Sharkandrick West, who takes it 38 yards on a screen, breaking tackles the entire way, just goes out of bounds. It's okay, though. Gale finds his favorite target, TG, Taylor Gabriel, 31 yards. He sloughs off a tackle, gets into the end zone, runs up the hill. Touchdown. Wildcats. At halftime, it's 27-3, and there's Sharkandrick West finding the end zone in the third quarter. We usually don't show you field goals. This one's special, though. Morgan Lineberry, 54 yards, had some help from the wind, doesn't matter. That's 3 points. How about a defensive highlight? Nate Bailey picking off Eric Masoni, and he'll take that back to the house. Pick 6 for the purple and white. Nate Bailey. Wildcats are up by a lot, so John David Baker, the backup QB, comes in and promptly throws an interception. But there is an ACU highlight on this play. Sharkandrick West will chase him down at the 10-yard line. Didn't matter, though. Incarnate Word would go in to score, finally get a touchdown in the game. Next offensive play for the Wildcats isn't much better for John David Baker as he fumbles a handoff to Sharkandrick West, and there's Incarnate Word again going into the end zone. Trent Rios on both of those touchdowns. Gale comes back in for one play, a perfect handoff to Sharkandrick West, 71 yards. Gale looks like a hero for getting a perfect handoff. West, his second touchdown of the game, puts him over 100 yards. The route is officially on. How about one more highlight for you? We already showed you one pick six. Here's another one. That's Thor Warner picking off Masoni. Wildcats had 4 picks on the day. 2 of them returned for touchdowns, and they win this one 61-16. There's Aston Whiteside, who could have just played his final game in Shotwell Stadium. What a career for a guy that's probably going to be an NFLer. With thoughts on the game, here's Mitchell Gale.
I just try to do my job, and that's deliver the mail, so to speak. That's what we like to call it. And I did my job, and whatever the numbers are, I mean, that's what they are, and I don't really pay too much attention to that. And it's a good team effort.
Big win for ACU to finish the season 8-2. That's not only 6 straight trips to the playoffs, as we said earlier, but now 6 straight seasons of at least 8 wins. Before that streak started, which was 2006, only 9 seasons of 8+ wins in the first 84 years of the ACU football program. Quite an accomplishment. Coach, good start for your team against Incarnate Word. Both teams go 3-and-out in their first possessions, but then you come back and you score on your second possession. The big play, a 42-yard wide receiver screen to Taylor Gabriel that, at least from my vantage point, was really sprung by Justin Andrews with that kick-out block.
Yeah, Coach Collins has done a nice job putting Justin and Reggie and some of the bigger backs, Ben when he was healthy at tight end, out on the perimeter to block for some of those guys. And Justin made a great block. The run game kind of set it up. We faked the zone the other way and kind of drew some of their defenders. And then Mitchell got it out in stride to Taylor, and explosive play for Taylor.
Right after that play, Richardson takes it in for the first score of the game from 12 yards out. Part of the biggest rushing total for you guys this entire year. The 3 running backs combined for 35 carries, 274 yards. How much confidence do you have in your run game after seeing a performance like that going into the playoffs?
Well, not only that one, but the week before against Kingsville, against a really good run defense. And what's starting to happen is all of our running backs are starting to understand the detail of the plays that we're running. The one you referred to with Darrell, I mean, he did a great job of the execution of that play, of just keeping the thing in the A gap and then making a cut on the safety. Made the safety miss and got a big play. And we got a lot of that against Kingsville as well. Justin Andrews is doing a great job blocking. Reggie did a great job blocking from the fullback spot some. And, you know, our run game's starting to click. We're starting to get some things going there that we've been looking for all year.
It's a great point against Kingsville. Not only were they a great rushing defense, when you had to run the ball,
No doubt.
you had the lead, last couple of minutes of the game, they knew you were going to run it, you did, and you got 3 first downs there to close out that game. Well, one of those running backs, Sharkandrick West, went over 200 all-purpose yards in that game, including 130 rushing, his 3rd career game of at least 100 yards rushing, 2 last year. Almost as impressive to me was his 1 tackle that he gets counted for in that stat column. He chased down Incarnate Word linebacker Juan Asensio, who it looked for all the world was about to turn in a pick 6 for his team. What does a play like that say about Shark, and what does it do for a team? Can that be contagious?
Oh, there's no question. Shark, he's got that. I mean, every day at practice, he's like that. He's full speed, wide open, and that's very contagious for a team. That's the old Jarrell Badon just mentality of just work, and he's got that. He's got that innate ability just to show up every day and go to work, even if it's not going his way. And a play like that, you know, that can ignite a team, and especially, you know, he told me he took the ball from him and got it out before. You know, he was convinced
he did come up
the
with the ball.
He
Yeah,
he did, and he said, I don't know why they didn't give it to me, but. You know, he finished 4th in the conference in all-purpose yards, over 1,000, and he finished. He's the leading average kickoff return guy in the league, 22.4. I think the next guy was around 21. So he's made his mark this year and will continue to do so. He's really he's got great speed, but he's a tough guy, and he's worked hard. I'm proud of him.
impressive because it was 44-3 when that play happened, and I think a lot of people maybe just say, you know, we got to blow out, let him go.
He's working hard.
Yeah.
Your quarterback only played 2.5 quarters. Mitchell Gale got pulled in that 3rd quarter. Still put up over 300 yards, 327, threw a couple of touchdowns. We remember last season, 38 touchdowns, only 3 picks. This year, not quite as good, but still impressive. 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4 of those coming in the first 5 quarters of the season. Gone the rest of the way with only 2. 3,300 yards. How would you grade the performance of not only Mitchell, but your entire passing offense this year?
Well, I would give them an A because, you know, what's neat about that group is, you know, we had all those seniors graduate last year. Taylor was really the only one that had any production last year. All of them made the commitment to stay in the summer and work out. And really, you know, since we've been here, we haven't had the whole receiving corps stay over the summer together. We've had bits and pieces that decided to stay, but they all made the decision they want to stay and train together. And you know, they started off a little slow like we expected, but the progression of not only Taylor's got almost 60 catches. That's what Gates had last year. I believe was second-team all-conference, named that. And you know, he was second in catches, second in yards. Should have been first-team all-conference. That one kind of bothers me. But you know, Darian Hogg stepping up. Ben Gibbs, you know, when he was healthy. Justin Andrews getting in. Reggie caught balls last week. I mean, a lot of different guys making catches. Harkless is, you know, going to come up big each game. So I grade them an A because through the progression of the season and in the process, they've gotten a lot better and they've improved. Really proud of that group. Yeah,
and we don't want to leave out the fact that Morgan Lineberry in that game on Saturday tied Eben Nelson with the most field goals in the history of ACU's football program, moved past the great Matt Adams, now tied with Eben Nelson, and did it on a 54-yarder, his 4th 50-plus yarder in ACU history.
Yeah, and the all-conference team came out. He was first-team all-conference. Real proud of him. And, again, another guy that stayed in the summer and just elevated his game with his work ethic, and just proud of those guys.
Huge win, 61-16 over Incarnate Word. We'll look ahead to the game against Washburn, but when we come back, it's up to the JMC Network newsroom to look around a very busy week in the ACU sports world. This is the Chris Thompson Show. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Chris Thompson Show with a look now at the ACU sports landscape, including 3 other ACU teams in the playoffs. Here's Taylor Langston and Kristen Goodspeed with the JMC Network Sportscast.
Thanks, Austin. Current Associate Athletic Director and former ACU golf coach Vince Jarrett has been selected to the Golf Coaches Association of America Hall of Fame. Jarrett began coaching for the Wildcats in 1985 and led ACU to the NCAA National Championship 6 times while serving as a coach. Jarrett's time at ACU is represented by the number of honors that he's received, including his membership in the ACU Sports Hall of Fame. He was also the LSC Coach of the Year 4 times and the NCAA District 6 Coach of the Year 7 times. Jarrett will be honored in Las Vegas on December 5th during the GCAA Hall of Fame Awards Banquet.
Soccer made its way to California. After an intense game against Midwestern State, the Wildcats earned them a spot in the NCAA Division II Sweet 16. Sunday's 2-1 victory came in the first overtime at the Wildcat soccer pitch. J.C. Ferreira scored the winning goal with only 30 seconds left. This was Ferreira's first goal of the year. Guess she was just waiting for the right moment. Teammate Krista Grimm also scored in the game on a penalty kick, giving ACU a 1-0 lead in the first half. And goalie Elliott London's hard work paid off in the game as she made 11 saves. Yesterday, the Wildcats went up against Dallas Baptist, but unfortunately were defeated, ending their season.
It was a new team that took the court last weekend when the men's basketball team hosted the Whitten Inn Classic. Coach Golding and his team clinched a win against Truman State last Friday and capped off a successful weekend of play after beating East Central Oklahoma on Saturday night. Friday, the men shot for 50% in the first half and won in a down-to-the-wire 70-68 win. Saturday, junior transfer Amani Williams led the team with 18 points in an 89-72 win over ECU. The men compete in the UTPB Classic this weekend in Odessa.
Women's basketball started out on a rocky road, losing 2 exhibition games. First to Houston Baptist, then to Lubbock Christian, 80-73. Regular season started Thursday for the Wildcats when they faced Texas A&M International in Laredo. ACU's next challenge will be against the University of Texas of the Permian Basin on Tuesday. Also, head coach Shauna Lavender recently announced a new signee. High school standout Kenzie Newman from Salina will join the Wildcats next season. For the JMC Network, I'm Kristen Goodspeed.
And I'm Taylor Langston. Join us again next week.
Thanks, ladies. Now, Grant and I talked about them last week here on the show, but this week, in what could be their final game as a Wildcat. The seniors talk about what it has been like to don the purple and white.
We're all big fat guys. Like, you have to develop a personality and be funny, or you won't get very far in life with our looks. So you might as well be funny. I think that's why we're the clowns.
Neil's a clown.
I'm a clown. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm Neil Davis, number 77, an offensive lineman.
You don't say where you from? I'm Ashton Whiteside, number 2 defensive end from Vernon, Texas.
Which coach?
I'm Darian Williams, number 23, strong safety from Vernon, Texas.
Vernon.
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 So just like teammates, it's more of like a family type deal. I mean, these dudes here are my brothers, and I'm family with the coaches, I feel like.
When we went on the retreat, I think last year, and we had to stay in these cabins. And after the retreat, I mean, we just kind of joked on each other, high-sided or clowned each other the whole night. About what time, bro?
I went to sleep.
How long we stay up, bro?
I don't know. Y'all stayed up
We stayed
here,
6.
Fred, until like
We stayed up to about 4 or 5, just joking, just high-siding and joking.
Nathan Baggs, number 36, outside linebacker.
Nate Bailey, number 3, cornerback.
Gerard Harrell, number 79, offensive tackle.
Donald Moore, number 94, defensive tackle.
Y'all really want me to dance?
Coach T does his one dance, and he's just
dancing like a woman.
Richardson, I'm a running back, number 1.
Derek Drummond, I'm number 95, and I play outside linebacker.
I'm Matt Weber. I'm number 61. I play center for us.
Derek Odelusi, number 41, linebacker.
After being here, after playing here, you get things here way beyond football.
I found brothers out here in Texas, all the way from Florida, so I never expected that.
ACU really taught me just how to be humble, and you know, it's not always about you, and that there's nothing wrong with being a team player.
So seeing guys, you know, playing together for a bigger cause, you know, prevailing over, you know, the obstacles people put in front of us.
Definitely a great class of senior guys, and hopefully they can pull out a win today against Washburn. We'll have Coach T back up here when we come back to talk about that Washburn game. It's the Chris Thompson Show. Stick around.
Take a look at the 2 playoff matchups today in Super Region 4 in St. Joe, Missouri. Missouri Western will host Northwest Missouri State. That's a rematch of a game a couple of weeks ago, which really put Missouri Western into these playoffs. They knocked off Northwest 31-28 at home, and they moved from 7th at the time, and you see they get the number 4 seed in these Super Region 4 playoffs. ACU against Washburn today. That's a rematch of the season opening game that ACU played in 2010. Let's take a look back at that 34-26 ACU victory over the Ichabods of Washburn last year. Impressive win over the Ichabods last year, 34-26, again in the season opener for ACU. A rematch today, one of the 8 Division II football playoff games today. And Coach, when I look at this game, there are no games today that feature two more explosive offenses. You've got Washburn, number 4 in the nation in total offense. Your team is number 5. That would suggest that today could be a shootout. How do you see it?
You know, it possibly can. I mean, it's sometimes when you think that's what you're going to get, the defenses play a little bit better than what you think. But I think both teams will move the ball. It'll come down to turnovers, who can force a couple, I think. You know, our team the last couple of weeks has been kind of on an uptrend of forcing turnovers. We've forced 8 in the last 2 games and moved the ball very well on offense. So I think it gives us a chance. If you know, when 2 teams are hot on offense, if one of the other defenses can force a couple of turnovers, it can turn it pretty quick.
We all know about Mitchell Gale, one of the best in the nation at the quarterback position, a Harlan Hill finalist. The Ichabods also have a Harlan Hill finalist, a quarterback in Dane Semino, 4th in the nation in total offense. 34 touchdowns to 10 interceptions this year. You saw him last year. What have you told your defense about containing Semino?
Well, just that we've got to continue to play. I mean, he's going to make plays, and he's proven that all year. He's proven it over his whole career. He's a great player. We made some plays last year against him. Darian Williams picked him down in the red zone. That was a huge play. And, you know, that's what defenses have to understand, especially in the playoffs in Division II. There's going to be some points scored. You got to just keep playing the next play. You got to keep working hard and force them into a bad situation ultimately.
They have a good running back in Cooper. Last year they had Vershawn Moore, who is a terrific back. But, Coach, when I think about your defense, I don't think anyone for the Wildcats, including your own players, would say it was a great year statistically for us defensively. I mean, you look at the numbers, and and you were, nationally, in the bottom half in a lot of categories. Here's the one thing that I did notice, though. Against teams who were predominantly passing offenses, your team did have some success. I'm thinking about WT. You held them to 18 points. Angelo was, for the most part, a throwing team. You held them to 17 points. And so while you gave up a lot of yards this year, your team did find a way, especially when it got into the tight red zone, to turn some teams over. And this is an offense that, while it can run, is still going to rely on Dane Semino. So how do you see it trying to stop those guys?
Well, our defense right now is built a little bit more to stop the spread offenses that you see in the Lone Star. And, we had some guys in place like Jesse Harper and T.R. Varnado and some of those guys, Cy Wilson, that are pretty good size, bigger, stronger type defenders to help us against the more run-oriented teams, but those guys got hurt. And so I think we fared better against teams like West Texas who rely on the pass. We're a little bit more geared to stop that with guys like Nate Baggs. And Washburn is going to run the ball, and they will try to run the ball. They do a good job with that. But going in against more of a pass-oriented offense, we feel like we match up a little bit better maybe. And we led the Lone Star Conference in red zone defense. So we gave up some yards between the 20s, but when people get down in our red zone area, we tend to get stops. And so, again, it's going to come down to forcing some turnovers, getting some stops, forcing some field goals in the red zone in a game that might have a lot of points.
It all gets started today. 1 o'clock kickoff up in Topeka, Kansas. Coach, you guys play well, and hopefully let's do it again next week. What do you say?
I'm ready.
All right. For Coach Thompson and for Austin Gwynn, I'm Grant Boone. A reminder, you can catch the game online and on local radio, Mix 92.5 FM. Go to acusports.com for all those links where you can find those broadcasts. We'll see you next week.